All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about XDefiant's quote unquote new problem because a lot of people in the community are definitely having issues with this. And the majority of the community are actually on. They're just not liking it. Now, what am I talking about exactly? And that is trading kills, or should I say, kill trades. So this is actually a bigger deal than what it seems on the surface because, well, if you come from a franchise like, let's say, Halo, for instance, and you're playing XDefiant, this may not be such a big deal for you because in Halo, this happens quite often. However, with all the different experiences, especially since Season 2 just released as of the time of this recording, Season 2 it's very noticeable that a lot of people are getting a lot of kill trades. And for a game like an arcade first person shooter that is very reminiscent of classic Call of Duty style games in its own way, I think a lot of people are just obviously, number one, they're not used to that, so to speak, right? It's really, it hasn't been, at least to my knowledge, when it comes to arcade first person shooters, it's not very common for it to be a more normal part of the game. Now, obviously, this was something that was far less apparent before the Season 2 update, but the developers decided to basically implement this because, well, certain hit markers and damage were not really registering, so to speak, right? And you could have sworn you hit a guy as they were killing you, but it just wasn't doing any damage. And now that it is doing damage and that the hit is registering after you hit them, despite the fact that you're dead, they die as well, and therefore you get kill trades. And when it comes to XDefiant, I know that we have 100 base health, even though the time to kill is a little bit longer, even though it feels like 150, like similar to Black Ops 4. In terms of the base health, it is 100. However, you also have the phantoms that are also at 115 right now. They've been nerfed from 120 to 115, and this was to help the SMGs. But everything else pretty much the same for the most part. But this is a really big deal. Obviously, like I said, if you come from a Halo background, or if you come from games that have a little bit of a higher time to kill, even in some of those games, it's not very common. And one of the things that I've noticed in the comment section recently, as well as some other things on social media, is that for some people it's happening like 50% of the time. In my mind, immediately when I read something like that, I'm like, yeah, they're just exaggerating. But at the same time, this game has been pretty infamous for having inconsistencies, because even when you look at the update for Season 2, you'll have people that say, oh my gosh, it feels better. You'll have other people that say, oh my gosh, it feels worse. And then of course you'll have other people that'll say that there hasn't been any change at all. And on top of that, I've mentioned before in previous videos that we have 3 different systems that XDefiant is being worked on simultaneously: the PS5, the Xbox Series X and S, and the PC. So actually 4 systems if you want to be really technical. But you guys get the point, right? So it seems like for a lot of people, there's been a lot of inconsistencies regardless of whatever platform you're on. And I remember somebody in my comment section recently was also telling me that this could very much be a reality. And I guess I would want both console players and PC players to also put in their own words on this in this particular subject. And some of them are saying that consoles, because of their limitations compared to PC, are actually slowing down the PC side of things. So because PC games are on these days are not as optimized as they could be when they're also released on console, and that's because there has to be a lot of time put into the different systems as well. This is one of the things that a lot of different games have had challenges with. Like I remember with Call of Duty Ghosts back in the day, you know, they made that game for a multitude of different systems because it was also during a next generation launch, particularly the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 at the time. So that was also a big deal to consider. The more consoles you have, the more work you have to do, and then some, a lot more maintaining, et cetera, which is obviously why this didn't happen for PS4 and Xbox One as far as XDefiant is concerned. But kill trading, I really want to know, I want to have a bigger sample size when it comes to this. kill trading. Do you think it is the lesser of two evils compared to before, to where one person would die and one person would live, even though you probably hit them and they should have either gotten a kill trade before, or maybe you should have gotten the kill? And the thing is, when it comes to players that play these types of games, right, arcade first person shooters, like Call of Duty, for instance, there's always, like 99.9% of the time, there's always a person who wins a gunfight and a person who loses, regardless of whatever BS happens, right? Whether it's a connection issue, whether it's a server issue, whether it's an EOMM issue, whatever it is, one person is going to win and another person is going to lose. And the only game that I could think of off the top of my head that to where kill trading is a common thing or nothing new to the franchise is Halo. But for the most part, I really even when I played a little bit of Overwatch or any other first person shooter for that matter, I really didn't notice too much of trading. However, nowadays with XDefiant, especially within the first hours of season 2's launch and what people are saying about it, I think this could be a really big how do I put this, debate, a really big debate, which could actually be somewhat problematic. And as you guys know, the devs do listen, and they do take our feedback into consideration. And perhaps when they did internal testing before they released the update, maybe it wasn't as bad. But now that you've got the game into the masses, which is again one of the reasons why you have betas and stuff like that for prior to game's launch, when you get the game into the masses and stuff like that, the results could be quite different than before, right? Because again, the sample size is much larger. So this is where I want to hear from you guys. Are you in group A, to where you don't mind, and it's are you in group B, to where it's like, you know, to you it's the lesser of two evils? Are you on group C, to where you absolutely hate it and you rather go back to the way it was regardless of the fact that there were problems? Or are you in group D, to where you're like, you know what, forget this, I don't like kill trades, and I'm just done with the game, so to speak, right? So I really want to know in terms of where you are specifically in terms of your results as well as what you're getting. Is it as bad for you as it is for other people? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get all sorts of different comments on this. And at the same time, another reason why I wanted to make this is, again, because this video here could be a source of feedback from the devs, because my opinion and my experience, I'm only one person. However, if we have a significant amount of players that report in on this in the comment section below, this is a form of feedback for the developers that, and if need be, especially if the feedback, if you guys are gracious enough to give me a lot of feedback in the comment section, I will link this video over to Mark Rubin and on X if I need to as well, and basically just say, hey, this is just some community feedback in terms of the kill trades, because I think that the developers are going to be hearing quite a lot from the community on tweets and such, and I'm just doing my part to kind of give the sample size, make the sample size larger, as well as give specifics in terms of what you guys are specifically feeling. And by all means, of course, let the devs know what console you're on, because as mentioned earlier in this video, it's so different from everything that I've seen and read so far. It is so different based off of whatever platform you're on. It's one of those things that needs to be ironed out, but it's not something that is, it's something that's easier said than done, and it is obviously very time consuming, and it is the inconsistencies of the game in any way, shape, or form, and an individual's experience not being too close with another's is actually something that a lot of players are not very happy about. But obviously it's just going to be something that's going to take time. So but with that being said, I think feedback from you guys will help in this situation a lot, as well as give feedback. And with the kind of devs that we have, you never know, they might do a very small update within the next few weeks and say, you know what, due to community feedback, we're going to revert this and we're going to make it to how it was, because you guys absolutely hate kill trading. So here you go, this is how it was previously, and we will be updating in the future. So let's see what happens. But with that being said, guys, I want to know down in the comment section what you guys think as always, and thank you all for taking the time to watch and or listen. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.